Recorded live on DementiaRadio.org, it's the Funny Music Podcast. Brought to you by FuMP.com, where you can download new free comedy songs twice a week. Now, here's your hosts, Devo Spice and the great Luke Ski.
Hey, Devo Spice.
Hey, Luke Ski.
We have Dave Stagner on the show with us.
Hey, Dave. How you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Welcome to the FuMPCast. This is your first time on the video show. We had you on once before, right?
Yeah, I was on audio.
That's right. Yeah, before we started doing the video. But welcome to episode 522 of the Funny Music Podcast for June 18th, 2020.
Let's get caught up with what Devo and Luke have been up to since last week. Or else Devo, if Luke failed and didn't show up.
Hey, what?
No, he's right.
So, Luke, what you been up to? And Wildcard says he sees video but not audio. That's bad, because I see all the settings and the audio's going through. So, anyway, Luke, what you been up to?
Well, I had some crappy dental misadventures over the past week. I had a tooth that had like part of it kind of chipped off on the inside, and it left kind of a sharp edge, and another tooth already had a thing with it from the last time I got dental work done back in January, where after they did a root canal, they left kind of an indentation in the tooth that I felt was a little too deep and a little too sharp, kind of like like a Lego divot like in the back of my tooth. Like it was just deep enough, and it was catching food, and it was just annoying me. My tongue was kind of constantly drawn to it, and it was making me nuts. So I went back to the endodontist who did that stuff to get the new thing done, just because I wanted them to fix the other thing while they were dealing with the new thing on the chipped tooth. And long story short, the chipped tooth ended up getting root canaled and prepped for a porcelain crown.
Ouch.
And there was extra work involved that wasn't originally supposed to be part of the thing. It's like step one was getting the root canal on Friday, and when they got it done, the part of my tooth that was left was like the front facing part of this tooth, and it was very thin, not like paper thin, but thin enough, and they didn't put like any amalgam behind it because they were going to do a root canal on it on Monday anyway, and I guess they felt like, oh well, we'll just leave it the way it is, and so I was really careful with it on Friday, and then while I was sleeping on Saturday, my jaw moved and bumped it and like snapped the top part right off. So, and I already had the appointment set up for Monday morning, and this was Saturday morning, so I basically had to spend 2 days with like half a tooth here with an even more specific sharper edge on the inside now. So that really sucked. And then I went in Monday, and then they said that because the tooth broke, which I more or less consider their fault, because that happened in my sleep. And if they thought that might have happened, they should have reinforced that with something. So I don't know. So anyway, so they had to kind of, re-drill back into the root canal they already did to put a post in it to prep that tooth. And then they didn't even get that right on the first try. And they had to like do the whole mouth, measuring the teeth mold thing, like, I think it felt like it was 3 times they had to do it to get it right before I was all done. I was in the endodontist chair for 3 hours.
Yikes.
So that was just really freaking annoying, but at least now I have, the temporary tooth in now, and I'll be getting the porcelain crown in 2 weeks. And altogether, it's going to have costed me, in the end, about $1,700. And I really did not want to have to pay that much money for this. It's like, it makes me wonder if I had just gone to my regular dentist instead of this endodontist, would they have just, done a quick filling and left it alone, and it would only cost me a few $100 and been much less of a pain. But whatever, at least I'm going to get a porcelain crown out of it. And I'm basically using this as my decision to, every few months, when I have the time and the money, I'm going to go in and just start getting work done. And, there's a lot of like old crowns and old fillings in the back of my mouth that have like silver fillings in them that are metal, and I'm just going to start getting all these replaced with, you know, with porcelain crowns and stuff, just because I've had all these pain in the butt tooth problems the majority of my life, and I'm just going to start taking care of them now, so that, you know, once I get through all of them, it'll probably take, you know, 2 or 3 years, but in the end, hopefully I will have a mouth that looks like a decent, normal human mouth and not feel, you know, self-conscious all the time about, you know, how my teeth look.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know that they could be much worse, that, you know, there's nothing, you know, really bad about the way I currently look, but it's still always been really something I've been self-conscious about. Anyway, so there was dealing with that. What else happened this week? Oh, I took another Steven Silver online drawing session, which was really cool. And this is mainly about doing character design stuff. And his random generator of attributes for the character came up with a female sheep that is a soldier that's very tall, and what were the other? Well, the main thing, playing frisbee, that was it. So we all in the class had to spend the first half doing rough thumbnails of that, and then Stephen would look at everyone's work halfway through and kind of point out the ones he liked the best, and then the second half we'd all try to do a finished drawing based on whatever he said, and then at the end of the class he like kind of has everyone's name is like in a big, you know, ticker Wheel of Fortune wheel, and then he spins it to see who which 3 of the, you know, 20 or so of us he's going to do the, you know, a final review for. So I did my final drawing, and he didn't do a proper final review for it, but I did post it on my Twitter and my Facebook, and you know, tagged him in it, and he, you know, messaged me back in that, you know, after that tag, saying that he thought I did a good job in my final drawing. So that was cool and fun. And Kyle also had some positive things to say about it, as did other people. So that made me feel real good. I got some commission stuff done this week that had to do more with audio than with drawing. And one of them is a trailer for a podcast, which it's completely done except for they want me to swap out one of the sound bites from the show with a different sound bite that they need to either find or just fabricate and make up on their own. And, you know, so I'm kind of like in a holding pattern waiting to get that final sound bite. And the other thing is they asked me to do a song parody about their podcast. And I have commissioned Tom Smith to make the backing track, so he's going to get that to me soon. And it was also requested that Carrie sing on it, and I checked with her, and she's willing to sing on it too. So I'm going to be getting that done soon. So I may be making that track like a thing for my Patreon donors or something, because it's too specific about the podcast to, I think, really be a funk track, but I think, you know, other folks might want to hear it. And yeah, I'm also getting I just wrote I'm going to do it's either going to be 1 comic page, probably 2 comic pages with how much I wrote. I wrote out the script for 2 comic pages I'm going to do, which is another commission that someone was kind enough to pay me to do, because I had this idea for a follow-up joke to my that whole pop culture fandom comic thing. So I finally sat down and wrote the script for this bit. I originally planned on making it much longer, and in the future I might go back and add more to it and make it longer, you know, part of a longer narrative. But for right now, I just want to get the initial main idea of this 2-page thing done and posted, so that I can consider my the commission part of this a finished thing, so that I can move on to the things I really need to do, which is me making new animatics to put on my website, so that I can, you know, try to find work, because I don't have anything that's, you know, from the past 2 years, you know, that's a real good example of my animatic work. So I need to basically make up stuff and make some new animatics, but I don't want to dive into that project until I get the other things that are commitments to people off of my plate. So I'm going to do this comic, and I'm waiting to finish up the stuff from the other thing, and then I'm going to just I'm just going to make it a real mission for me to get really proactive and do things I haven't been doing, ask for help, ask for advice on how to get myself a job in this industry, because I just, it's like, if I have to go back to Lyft driving, I will, but I really don't want to. It's like, if I can find a full-time job at a studio, even if it's working from home, even if it's not a thing that's going to last several years, even if it only lasts 6 or 8 months like some gigs do, I need to find something that's full-time before the end of August, because it's ridiculous. It's been 27 and a half months and I haven't found one decent full-time real job in the industry since I left Magiswords, and I'm just it's like, I know I can do this, and sometimes I get discouraged, but I'm still here and I'm still going to try. So anyway, what have you been up to this week?
Well, today I actually took the day off work because it was my son's middle school graduation. So he's graduated from 8th grade. Actually, he graduated 3rd in his class, so we're very proud of him for that. And other than that, I've been working on the FuMP. I was actually spent most of this afternoon working on that schedule we talked about of live events and putting that online. I was hoping to get it done before the show tonight so that I could, publish it and then we could talk about it. But it's not quite done yet, so it should be done by next week. And then there's one other thing to do for the FuMP, which is the print-on-demand CDs. And then I'm going to set that aside so I can focus on other projects for a bit. I've also been working on the video for Spider-Verses, and I'm struggling my way through the TV's Kyleverse because holy crap, we never filming in front of a bed sheet again. I can tell you that right now. But the sheet is white and there are portions of Kyle's costume that is white. So he becomes transparent and there's nothing, there's no way to automatically tell the program which white to use and which white not to use. So I end up like doing the key like normally, and then I have to do a mask around a copy of Kyle. So there's 2 versions of Kyle, one on top of the other, and then I have to manually mask the one on top, and it's very tedious. So Kyle's verse is taking a long time. But
how far into it are you?
Huh?
How far into Kyle's verse are you?
I think I'm like 4 or 5 lines into Kyle's verse right now.
Okay.
So it's going slow.
I mean, I was going to suggest I could set up the green screen and we could just refilm Kyle's stuff here with the green screen.
I considered that. I don't know that it's worth it at this point, but yeah.
Plus, I guess social distancing, it probably wouldn't be the best.
Yeah, that was the main reason why I didn't push it. But anyway, so Dave, what have you been up to?
This week I live in Southeast Minneapolis in the 3rd precinct, so that was what I was up to for a couple of weeks.
That must have been fun.
Crazy white supremacist gangs running around our town, putting gasoline by people's garages, and huge protests, and hearing my 70-odd-year-old neighbor say "fuck the police." So I hope I can swear here.
Yes, you can.
Good. And it's been a wild ride here. It's been a lot. It's been exciting, a learning experience. I think it's in a lot of ways very positive for the community, but it's a lot of pain and a lot of suffering. Before that, I was working 55, 60-hour weeks at my day job. I'm back to that routine, which is no fun. It's been weird since with COVID, that kind of kills bands, and my usual musical outlet is my bands. Doing stuff with Beth Kinderman, or doing stuff with Feng Shui Ninjas, or doing stuff with Gernsback Continuum, or whoever. And I haven't had that. And I haven't wanted to record or be like outlet productive.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been playing guitar religiously, an hour or 2 a day, sometimes more. which has been really interesting for my playing. I've gotten a lot better in certain ways. I bought myself a really nice 12 string that I like a lot. That was my random COVID purchase, and I've been like the last couple of days I've been like doing this like Leo Kottke 12 string super loud slide playing and doing War Pigs by Black Sabbath.
Nice. There we go.
War Pigs is an instrumental on an acoustic guitar, and a 12 string with a slide is kind of a lot of racket. It's kind of like a metal band, so it works. But yeah, it's been a strange place for my music. I've written very little. I've got recording projects that are just like sitting idle. I really need to finish an EP of the Gernsback Continuum. That's a band very few people have seen. I was going
to say I hadn't heard of that one.
It was a rock power trio I did with Justin Hartley from every other band I'm in on drums, and their friend Dennis on bass, who I stole from somebody else's band, well, borrowed. And we were doing basically science fiction themed power trio heavy rock. It's a lot of fun.
Nice. That sounds cool.
Dennis is a fantastic player, and it changed the center of gravity. I mean, Justin and I have our way of playing. Obviously, Justin and I play together a lot. And instead of me leading the beat or Justin leading the beat, Dennis was leading the beat. And it gave both of us a lot of space to improvise and stretch. Very enjoyable band. Unfortunately, Dennis had a bunch of like family issues crop up and had to take a leave from music. I don't know when we're going to be able to play again. But we were working on an album, and I got all I need from the two of them on 4 tracks out of the 8 or 9 we were planning. So I need to finish my stuff on those 4 tracks, some of which is adding more guitars, some of which is vocals, and vocals are a complicated issue for me. Sometimes my voice works and sometimes it doesn't. The one track that really is pretty much finished was a cover of a Toy Boat song.
Cool.
Yeah, Reach for the Stars by Michael Nixon, which is something for, guys of a certain age. Those of us who like grew up in the 70s and 80s, growing up with Star Trek and with moonshots is the first line of the song. People of a certain age, and you reach for the stars and the mace comes out again and turns this horrendous stalker song about a guy who's going around stalking celebrity heroes. It's just hilarious, and we this marvelous loud version of it. So yeah.
So you've been busy with music.
I've been busy, but by myself.
Yeah.
Beth made a comment a while back. We had gotten together just right after MarsCon, right before COVID caught everybody, and started talking about doing the next album together. So she has an album's worth of material that seems somewhat thematic, because we like doing these thematic progressive rock things. And so after COVID, of course, I've seen Beth once since then. It was just like weekend before last, I think. Last weekend. And so it's just idled. And Beth saw this thread on Twitter about say what it is that you did personally to cause COVID.
Okay.
And her response was, sat down with my bandmate and producer to make plans for producing an album in 2020 about hope. Thank you, Beth.
That'll teach you.
Oh, we did get another song out on the phone at some point. But yeah, I'm hoping that Beth and I will be back to work this summer.
Awesome.
Coming up with stuff, because Beth is good at motivating me.
So give us a quick intro to the song that you posted. We'll give it a listen.
Oh, this is totally a COVID song. And, if I wasn't being lazy and not recording, I would have an EP of COVID songs right now because I've written 3 of them.
Nice.
All parodies. I played all 3 of them at an online concert for Demicon, a con in Des Moines, which has a good music track. No Demicon, but we did the whole music track anyway. So the first song I wrote was inspired by, there's a Facebook group called Consolation, which some clever person came up with as, well, all the cons are getting canceled this spring. Let's have Consolation, the con that never happens.
Yes, I'm a member of it.
Oh, yeah. And I thought, well, this needs a theme song. So I wrote a theme song.
All right.
That's Hotel Consolation.
Here is Hotel Consolation by Dave Stagner.
Off some suburban exit near abandoned strip malls, faint odor of fast food kinda makes my skin crawl. Up ahead in the distance, I see a parking space. Google Maps says I've arrived. Guess this must be the place. Couldn't find registration. I guess no one's in charge. And I was thinking to myself, this hotel just can't be that large. I went looking for ops staff. No one showed me the way. There were voices down the corridor. Thought I heard them say, welcome to the Hotel Consolation. Everyone is gone. You can't find the con. Plenty of rooms at the Hotel Consolation. It happens every year. You can't find a beer. Art show's totally empty. Are no honored guests. We don't have pretty cosplay kids or any friends. How they wander the lobby, rank game of sweat. Some drink to remember, some drink to forget. So I called up the con chair, asked if everything's fine, and he said, this con's been running here since 1969. And still the guests keep coming from far away. Wake you up in the middle of the night just to hear them say, welcome to the Hotel Consolation. Everyone is gone. You can't find the con. No one ever goes to the Hotel Consolation. It was no surprise. Schedule full of lies. Music circles silent. No one ever comes. We are all just panelists here of our own fandoms. In the empty con suite, they gathered for the feast. Stabbed it with their plastic knives, but they just can't kill the beast. Last thing I remember, I was getting really bored. had to find a passage back to that famous party floor. Relax in the con chair. We all love make-believe. You can pre-reg for next year, but you can never leave.
Wish I'd had time to work more on that song, but sorry, somebody burned my city, and and my work decided 60 hours is an appropriate amount of time. And yeah, I just got wiped out, and I wanted to go through and add a bunch of layers of guitars and really eagles it up.
I think it's great as it is. And when I saw this song come through to the FuMP, I was like, oh, that's fantastic. Because I've been following the Constellation, Facebook group since it started. And I've been having a lot of fun with it for the most part.
We're all panelists here of our own fandoms.
Yes. And it's been pretty cool. And yeah, because all the cons have been canceled, including FuMPFest. And I was just thinking, like, I saw you at MarsCon, and that was only 3 months ago, and it feels like an eternity ago. It's like that. It feels like that was years ago. It's so weird.
Sure, that's what I had to do. If somebody else hasn't beat me to it, I had to write a song about 2020 bingo cards.
Yeah. Is there a song about 2020 bingo cards? I know people have been talking about actual bingo cards. I don't know about a song, but
my daughter said 2020 wasn't on my 2020 bingo card. She's
Good
funnier
one.
than me, though. So
My favorite version of that is have you both seen the movie The Cabin in the Woods?
oh yeah,
Is whenever something like that happens, it's like the top thing is like, for example, one of them recently was some I forgot where in the world this is happening, but it was something about wild boars having, I don't know, some drug people somewhere,
oh, they ate all the cocaine or something.
Yeah,
oh god, yeah, that one.
They dumped out a bunch of cocaine and a bunch of wild boars ate it, and then it cuts to the picture of the guy, and the caption is, "Who had coke boars for June?"
Right.
Oh man, yeah. Like I said, I wrote a couple of other 2020 and COVID related songs. I did a parody of Band from Argo, the old classic folk song,
Mm-hmm.
Leslie Fish song, which is okay. And I did, just because I had a concert on the 1st of May, I did 1st of May by Jonathan Colton, parodied for Social Distancing.
Oh, nice.
So it's like all about having like phone sex. It wasn't all that great, but it was a song,
Yeah.
Like every once in a while you get inspired, you write something good. And I feel Hotel California is one of those really good ones. It might stick around repertoire well after COVID is over.
Yeah, especially since the Constellation Facebook group, I don't think is going anywhere,
Oh no, the Constellation Facebook group's delightful. It has a lot of fun stuff in it.
Yeah.
It's been interesting to watch fandom respond and find ways to continue our community.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Beth and I are slowly but surely taking over every music track in the Twin Cities fandom but MarsCons. Luke can have that. But we co-head Convergence, which is a large con.
Mm-hmm.
I've been running HarmCon for that, and having a con perspective on how do we deal with this? How do we get out of this? Because it's hard on cons. It's, cons have to financially survive not happening for a year.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to lose a lot of cons permanently. I'm worried about a lot of them.
Yeah, thankfully, with FuMPFest, we just kind of deferred all the costs till 2021. So it's not costing us anything to not have the event this year. Thank God.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I know Convergence, we had to make deals with the hotels because we occupy a large hotel and a smaller satellite hotel. That's
Yeah.
a huge amount of stuff. And, if they decided to be sticklers about it, the con would not survive. It would just eat all of our money.
Yeah, basically.
But the hotel let us out, so we've been really lucky in that regard. But I still worry that some of the cons aren't going to survive this.
How many convergences have happened at the new downtown hotel's location?
Just one. So for those playing at home, Convergence is 21 years old now, and 19 of its first 20 years were spent in one particular hotel, known in Twin Cities fandom as the Radish Tree due to a sequence of owners.
That was the hotel where that had that big foyer in the center around those party rooms.
God, yeah, the best party room space at a con ever.
Yeah, when Dr. Demento came back and we had the folks there filming a documentary, and Henry Phelps was our guest of honor, if you can remember that year.
Yeah.
We're talking about.
Yeah, so it was a great hotel, but we had issues with owners. Minneapolis hotels change owners like every 5 years because of taxes. And so we bailed out and went to a newer, larger hotel in downtown Minneapolis. Last year was our first year at the new hotel. For those of us running the Harmonic Convergence music track, it was a super exciting and wonderful thing. We got a fantastic space. And we have a good relationship with the new hotel. It's bigger, it's better in many ways. It's nice to be downtown rather than suburbia. Not everybody agrees with me on that, but I like it. And so, we got that. Friends of mine, including our friend Charla, who is a co-head for Harmonic Convergence, is head for MiniCon, which also has a good music track that Beth and I run. And it's been really hard. We lost MiniCon. I felt I lost all my gigs after MarsCon. That was like the last time I got to play on stage.
Yeah, same here.
Hopefully they'll come back. I miss playing in front of an audience.
Yeah, I was supposed to have a show just like a week and a half ago, I guess, here in New Jersey, and it's been the official gig has been postponed till October, but I can't make the October date, so for me it's been canceled.
Yeah, I mean, I should be doing more recording, but I'm having a hard time feeling it. And I know, as a musician, I've always been a live musician. The best way to experience Dave Stagner's music is to catch him in concert. And even there, it varies a lot. If you ever get a chance, catch the Feng Shui Ninjas, because you don't know what's going to happen, and we don't know what's going to happen either.
Yeah, the Feng Shui Ninjas concerts are always fun.
Yeah. Our band motto is, it's not a real train wreck unless it's on fire.
I like that.
It's a good goal for concerts, But, yeah, it's been a trying time, but I just sort of retreated into myself, and, my first love is not singing and not even writing lyrics. It's playing guitar.
Mm-hmm.
I sometimes say my relationship to comedy music is I'm a comedy guitarist.
Mm-hmm.
I can be really, really funny with the guitar. And just sitting and focusing really hard on... I haven't picked up an electric guitar since MarsCon. I play acoustic guitar only.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Even like last week when Beth and I got together for the first time, I didn't bring an electric guitar over. I just sit around and practice, and nobody wants to listen to me practice but me, I guess.
Well, you should be really, really good by next MarsCon then.
Yeah, I hope so. Hopefully I'll finally be good. It's funny because I am what I am. I've been playing guitar for well over 30 years now. It's I know who I am as a musician, but there's always refinement. Can always get better.
Yeah.
That's one thing I love about playing music is I can always get better. I mean, like 10 years ago, I didn't think of myself as a songwriter. Now, I've produced albums, my material.
It's fun, isn't it?
Yeah, of course, that includes things like what do clowns eat?
It counts. It works.
I love that song. It's just deeply, deeply wrong. That song, having a Luke Ski moment, that is on the This Is How Elvis Died EP on Bandcamp. And it's just, I had a question and I tried to answer it. What do clowns eat? It's a terrible, terrible, wonderful song. One of these days I need to submit Fireworks, Pornography, and Cheese to the FuMP.
Sure.
Since I wrote it like 9 years ago. Finally recorded it. A year later, finally put it on an album. I suck at recording myself.
For some reason, I thought we already had it. I guess we don't.
No, we don't.
It's never been on the FuMP. It's on the album, so I can always just submit it to the FuMP. Feel free to kick me around and remind me to do that.
Well, that gives me 3 things to look forward to.
Yeah, I remember, like, it wound up, there's a recording of it on one of the MarsCon fundraiser albums. Because I did it during Jukebox. And then, like, the next year, everybody on the, like, Chicago bus was listening to that all the way across Wisconsin. Because, well, they could hate driving across Wisconsin just as much as I do. Oh, yeah, anyway, that's kind of my life. It's like work and sit at home and don't exercise and play a lot of guitar and argue with people on the internet.
Whatever works. So do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Right now, I'll plug the Constellation group on Facebook. And say, Beth Ginderman and I are working on a next album. It's still entirely on paper. We haven't recorded a note yet, but she's written most of it. I won't have any funny songs on it at all. It's one of those odd things, like there's the comedy stream of what we do and the serious stream of what we do. And I do the same thing. I read a bunch of serious music. I read a bunch of comedy music. I'm large. I contain multitudes. Yeah, I don't really have anything to plug. If I get around to finishing my COVID EP, I can plug that, but I haven't finished it yet.
Yeah, you should finish that before the virus goes away for maximum effect.
Yeah, before I catch it and die.
That too. We wouldn't want that, but yeah.
Okay. Well, it's been great talking to you guys.
You too.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to move on to the news. You're welcome to stick around if you'd like. You're welcome to take off if you have other things to do.
I should actually take off and do my day job, which is still calling to me. I left broken software behind me to come do this.
Nice. I like it. Priorities.
I don't. At a certain point I say, no, I actually have a life. I need to do that. But
all right, man. Well, thanks for joining us.
About how horrible the software industry is.
Yeah. I've done that.
Yes, you have. You're much more productive than me.
All right, man. We'll catch you next time, and if nothing else, I'll see you at MarsCon next year, hopefully.
Yay! Hopefully there will be a MarsCon next year.
Yeah.
All right. Bye,
Take
guys. Care. Everybody.
This is the FuMP.
It's going to disappear. One day it's like a miracle. It will disappear. And from our shores, it could get worse.
Dr. Fauci, bring us good news. Give us relief for this pandemic blues.
Wash your hands, it's not that hard to avoid groups and stay 6 feet apart. It's not just about you, it's a damn pandemic. All we're asking you is, don't be a dick.
It's like we're playing Minecraft and we're stuck in the nether. We'll get out whenever.
That's the Funny Music Project at thefump.com. THEFUMP.com.
Everything is canceled. Everything is closed because we're all quarantined. Everything is canceled because of COVID-19.
Time for funny music news. Something, something, something.
In the news. And by the way, Mikey Mason might be joining us. He's doing another like live internet event at the moment. He said if it finishes up early enough, he will join us.
Okay.
Worm Quartet has announced some new merchandise. They have a new print-on-demand store at storefrontier.com/wormquartet. This includes some new t-shirts, including the Atari design, the classic Worm Quartet logo shirt, plus a new mask, the official Worm Quartet profanity filter, which I appreciate. This is at storefrontier.com/wormquartet. So go there and pick up some Worm Quartet stuff. Friggin' Here is now available on archive.org. For those of you longtime Devo Spice Sudden Death fans, you may remember I co-hosted a radio show in Rochester, New York in the late 90s called Friggin' Here. It was on WITR, which is RIT's radio station. I was on from like mid to late 96 until the end of 98, and that was when I moved to New Jersey. While I was there, I recorded most of the shows. There were a couple I missed, a couple where the tapes messed up and stuff like that, but I was able to record most of the shows, and then those tapes collected dust in my basement for many, many years, until a year or so ago when I sent them to Dr. Don to digitize them. So now I have them on digital format. Then I was contacted by a guy named James Piazza who had a bug in him to archive Friggin' Here online for people to listen to. So I sent him the recordings. He tagged all the MP3s, set up, coordinated the files with the playlists and everything, and now it's all available on archive.org. So just go to archive.org, search for Friggin' Here, and you can listen to over 50 shows that I did with my co-host Twink when I lived in Rochester, New York. And if you can't find the link on archive.org, I did set up a news entry at devospice.com with a link directly to it. The Ninja Sex Party Tribute album fundraiser is over, and it ended successfully with a grand total of $2,475, which is something like 140% of their goal. So congratulations, Ian. Let's make this thing awesome. All right, a couple more minor updates to the FuMP.com I wanted to mention. I added, this is all to the store. You can now zoom in on the album art on most of the albums. So if you click on a release and then hover over the art and click on that, it'll zoom in full screen. So you can get a nice close-up look at the artwork, because we do a good job on the artwork for the FuMP. I'm really proud of these album covers. Yes. I also added some additional sorting in the store. You can now sort by vinyl and cassette releases because Jace keeps sending me stuff. And you can also sort by sale items, and sale items are also labeled. They're kind of highlighted in the search results. And for the sake of testing the sale items, I put a couple items on sale, including Herp Derp You Don't Stirp, Luke Ski's Greatest Hits Volume 2, and the FuMP Volume 47. So you can pick those up for a slightly discounted price at thefump.com right now. Sorry I didn't ask you first. I just needed a thing to put on sale.
Fine.
It's not like they're flying off the shelves here, dude. Also, speaking of Jay sending me stuff, Jay sent me a whole bunch of crap last week that I added to the store. So I now have vinyl and cassette of the Dewey Decibel System by MC Lars and Mega Ran. I now have vinyl and cassette of the Obscurity Trilogy by Mark with a C. Actually, no, that's just cassette, I believe. I don't think I have that on vinyl. I also have vinyls and cassettes of Lemon Demon, TV's Kyle, Bolognium, and Nuclear Bubble Wrap. So there's a whole bunch of cool stuff up in the store now. If you haven't already picked it up from Nuclear Bubble Wrap's website or Needle Juice Records, you can pick it up from me at the store at thefump.com. All right. You got anything before tour dates?
I just wanted to mention that the episode I had been plugging for a while of kind of talk about tunes about She-Ra Season 5 with my special guest was last Sunday's episode. So go check out episode number 172, which is titled Hey Adora, over at kyleandluke.com.
I heard it. I enjoyed it.
Yay.
All right. Tour dates. The only thing I want to mention is the Escape from the Secret Lab featuring Dr. Pinkerton. Tomorrow night's episode on June 19th will feature Bad Beth and Beyond. First FuMP act going to be on Escape from the Secret Lab. And on July 3rd, we will have, or Dr. Pinkerton will have Undercover Fun Time. So that's going to be a fun show as well. All right, birthdays. We've got a few. On the 21st, Jeff Whitmire. On the 22nd, Bone Cage. On the 23rd, Tom Smith. And on the 25th, Saker of 2D6. So happy birthday, everybody.
Yeah.
Lots of birthdays all of a sudden. All right. Our second song this week is by Mikey Mason. Here is Repeat.
Type, delete, drink, scroll, sigh, repeat. Type, delete, drink, scroll, sigh, repeat. I read your hasty diatribe, saw it was short-sighted, and before I knew it, I'd already started typing a well-thought-out reply, insightful and discerning, and a total waste of time. Type, delete, drink, scroll, sigh, repeat. Type, delete, drink, scroll, sigh, repeat. I found another post or 12, intemperate and misguided and misinformed as well. I stopped myself 3 paragraphs into my reply, 'cause you don't care about the truth, you only want to fight. Type, delete, drink, scroll, sigh, repeat. Type, delete, drink, scroll, sigh, repeat. You're so sure you've got the high ground on every subject line. Your hashtag philosophy is really quite divine. And so to stop this cycle where I type but I don't send, I click one single button that can solve it all, unfriend. Type, delete, drink, scroll, sigh, repeat. Type, drink, scroll, sigh, clicking on unfriend, goodbye.
There's a song I can relate to.
Yeah. Nice and short, gets to the point. Yep.
Did you see Schaefer's post about unfriending somebody?
I think I did.
He said that somebody on his friends list posted something about how.
Oh yeah.
About
I did
like
see that, yeah.
support for the police, and if you disagree with me, just unfriend me now. Don't even comment. So Schaefer didn't comment and just unfriended him. And like 20 minutes later, this dude messaged Schaefer and was like, "Why did you unfriend me?" It's like, well, you told me to, asshole. You know, what are you gonna do? All right.
Yeah. I mean, you know, basically what he does, I do. I find myself do. What the song Mikey has done about is something I have done quite a lot, like more and more as time goes on, and it's also just, you know, trying to figure out who in your life is somebody who you know, like there's a difference between a person who, you know, is a decent person who has a good heart but just has, you know, a couple of views you don't disagree with, or that are a little bit off or behind, but you know that like they could be saved or they could be convinced or, you know, whatever. And people who are just like, you know, no, you're gone. You know, you're in crazy town. You know.
I'm about this close from unfriending my cousin.
Yeah. It's it's like one of my friends from way back in the day finally got on Facebook, and just as long as I've known him since grade school, and as long as I've known him, his MO has always been whatever the thing is he can do to, you know, annoy somebody or make them mad, or, you know, basically he was, you know, being a troll, like not like in the systematic way that people are trolls today, but just, you know, just it's like, you know, as a kid, he's like in the kitchen, it's like, hey, don't eat those Doritos. And then he immediately starts eating those Doritos because he knows that's the thing he's not supposed to do. And he thinks it's funny that he or somebody else is getting upset. You know, it's like that kind of, I'm going to be contrarian and intentionally do the thing you don't want me to do because it'll piss you off. And I think that's funny. So I have seen him, now that he's finally on Facebook, posting a lot of things that are like, you know, fuck Antifa, like a big meme image. And, you know, it's like, you know, support our cops, you know, who has the balls to share this? And it's like, you know, he's left a couple comments on my, you know, posts. So I know that he's seeing what I'm posting. And when I see him posting those things, I'm like, it's like, I'm not taking the bait, dude. It's like, if you're, it's like, I don't believe that you really believe that stuff. I think you're just posting it because you like getting people upset. That's been your go-to maneuver since fourth grade. So no, I'm not taking the bait. I don't even believe you believe that stuff. You're just trying to do the thing that you always do.
That reminds me, I should look up one of my old friends, because one of my friends from grammar school and middle school, we friended each other we were really good friends in grammar school, middle school, and then we went to separate high schools. And we friended each other on Facebook years ago. And he was a cop. He was always like big into guns, even in like middle school. And so he became a cop. And like the last I heard, he was promoted to lieutenant or something like that. And he was always posting these like ultra conservative stuff. And I never said anything to him. I never, you know, confronted him about anything. And at some point he unfriended me because, you know, I am so out there with my political views on Facebook, I guess. I don't know. But at some point he unfriended me. So I'm like dying to know, because he's a cop. I'm dying to know what his take on everything happening right now is, because he's probably just flipping out. I kind of want to see it. I'm sure it's all private anyway, but
it wouldn't be great if you found out that it was like something like one of your really stupid inconsequential songs is what made him mad. Like, you know, you did a song making fun of people at IHOP, you know, or something. Right.
Yes. You know, it probably was something like that. You know, I don't know. Did I ever make fun of a cop in any of my songs? I don't think I did. I mean, like,
not that I can remember.
Nah, I don't think I did. Maybe it's time. All right, let's do some feedback.
Making the internet absolutely ridiculous. Dementia Radio.
www.dementiaradio.org. Port 8027.
Please hang up and try again.
This is the part where there's feedback. Feedback. You know that segment of the show we do about now? Feedback. Feedback.
Feedback. Eclectic Lee wrote, I went to Brian Woodbury's Bandcamp page to check out his album. He perhaps didn't mention a couple things about it that he should have. First, while he mentioned he had other musicians help him out, he didn't mention that one of them was Jim Chemo West of Weird Al's band. Jim plays on 2 of the songs. And the FuMP's own Amy Engelhart sings backing vocals on one song as well. Now everyone knows. All 5 FuMPcast listeners. Thank you, Lee. Wacky Ben wrote, need good evidence on how expensive snacks and drinks can be at a ball game? At a Cardinals game in St. Louis last year, $6 to purchase a bottle of water, and I paid $12 for 2 bottles. Bought one for my dad. Worst part, the Cubs lost with no points. Yes. I haven't been to a baseball game in years, but yeah. And Slightly D wrote, hey all, with no commute, my podcast queue has been slipping, so I binged the last 5 or 6 while doing yard work this weekend. Glad to see the technical issues with the video cast are getting worked out, with a certain amount of hammering and anger. For a while there, I figured all we needed was for Devo to turn into a Cylon again so we could relive the good old days. Stay healthy, all. Yes, that's just what I need, is to start Cyloning again, because that I will never figure out with this setup. This is a ridiculously complicated setup, but... All right, that's it for feedback.
I wanted to mention, I forgot to say this earlier during the news, but Dr. Fauci by Carrie Dolby on the FuMP's YouTube page is up to 198,789 views. So we're just under 1,300 views away from crossing 200K. So
it was about 198 last week too, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, so we seem to have petered out here. We just need a few more people, just a few more.
I just shared it on Twitter, and I'm gonna go share it on Facebook again too. So actually, I think I did that already. But yeah, just if everyone could share that around a little bit one more time. Let's get one more push and try to get it over 200K, and then I'll shut up about it.
Teasing. He's a teasing kind of guy. Now you have a job.
Yeah. Teasing. Tomorrow's song is by Steve Goody. Because, he doesn't put out too many songs. And Tuesday's song is by Joe J. Thomas. Yay! And next week's Spotify playlist topic is doctors. So got some medical musical humor coming your way. All right. That's it. Mikey Mason is at mikeymason.com. Dave Stagner is at davestagner.bandcamp.com. That's it. Yeah. Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. I'm Devo Spice.
I'm Luke Ski.
And we're all alone here.
So alone.
Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. You can listen live every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific at DementiaRadio.org and join us in the chat. Or subscribe to the podcast feed. Look us up on iTunes and be sure to leave us a review. Feedback for the show can be sent to info@thefump.com. The Funny Music Podcast is a production of Fidem Interactive, LLC, released under a Creative Commons share-alike license. Tell your friends. Tell your enemies. Shout it to random people on the street. And be sure to visit thefump.com for the latest funny songs. Tune in next week where you'll hear Luke Ski say,
hey, the Consolation 2020 FuMPCast After Party is in room 1327. Be sure to bring a beach chair, a sled, 5 gallons of lube, and a squeegee.